quote. I'm just going to go up here so I'm a little easier to see. Well, we're super excited to be here. Thank you all for coming out. Thanks to Seth for having us. Kyle back there driving the website. My name's Dan. I'm one of the founders of ConcertWindow. So basically, we'll just show you around the product a little bit. What we do is we make live concerts available to anyone with an internet connection. So you can watch shows in real time, and it's a new revenue stream for artists and for venues. So this is the site. This is live right now, obviously. We have tons of shows. We have over 100 shows every month, all live. And we broadcast from 14 partner venues around the country. And basically the way it works is that we've developed an automated camera system. And we install it in the venue. It's hands-off, it's remote, it runs night in and night out. And because of the automation, it's highly scalable. So why don't we zero in on one of the venues here, Cafe Lena. This is in Saratoga Springs, New York. It's the oldest continuously running coffee house in the United States, and Bob Dylan used to play there. So here are a couple shows coming up from Cafe Lena, some reviews that people have written. Luckily they seem to be pretty good. So let's go up. There's actually a show right now happening in Saratoga Springs. The Steel Wheels. So as you can see, this is the show page. There's some bio information down there. You can tweet it out. You can like the page. And if you go up just a little bit, Kyle, you can, as you can see, buy a ticket right there. A third of the revenue goes to the artist, a third to the venue, and a third to ConcertWindow. So it's a pretty straightforward business model. So let's go down. So we come to this page, and probably curious, I don't really know what these guys sound like. So let's click on a preview video. Give us a little sense. Not exactly the most inspiring opening. Oh, okay, I like the hat. Let's so we'll go ahead and buy a ticket to these guys. And show you how the flow works. So like I said, a third goes to us, a third goes to the venue, a third goes to the artist. I've given Kyle our credit card back there, so hopefully all goes well. This is viewable on iPad, it's viewable on iPhone, Apple TV. Okay, nobody's taking notes right now.
There you go. I'll just block the projector for you. Okay, good. There you go.
Just like magic. Okay, so just now the artist just made $1.50. ConcertWindow made $1.50, even though we just spent $5, and the venue made $1.50. So I'm sure a lot of you are musicians. With Spotify, I have an album on Spotify. I actually happen to be an accordion player, United States champion on accordion, kind of a random fact. But I have an album on Spotify, and I make like 0.002 of a cent per stream. So it's not really a noticeable income stream for me. Whereas with ConcertWindow, do a show at ConcertWindow, and for every ticket that's sold, like I said, I make $1.50. So people are walking out of shows making, $300 or $400 at the venue, and another 100 or 200 with ConcertWindow. So let's play the show here, and this is happening right now in Saratoga Springs. Oh, no flash. Do you have a different browser back there? I don't think I've ever seen that before. Oh, this is Safari. Oh, this is Safari. They probably turned off Flash. It's part of their war. So, yeah, oh yeah, you just log in right there. So yeah, like I said, over 100 shows a month, 14 venues. What we're doing right now is expanding venues, because the model's based around automation, based around scalability, so it's all about getting that content and building the subscriber base. So this is live right now. We have the video on the wall. We have the sound coming straight from the soundboard. So it's much better than you usually get on a cell phone video on YouTube. We're chatting. 35 people are watching right now. There's something really cool about the live experience. Just knowing that these guys are up there, literally anything could happen, and we're gonna see it as it happens. And there's kind of the real-time element of the chat. That's the experience that people are buying tickets for. So yes, we'll just kind of let that run and have it answer any questions. Go ahead.
Who funds the installation of all the equipment at the venue itself?
So we do. And we do that in exchange for a period of exclusivity.
Cool. Can you deal with latency?
Latency is actually not too bad. Before we started doing this, we thought there would be more of an issue with audio and video. But as you can tell, it's pretty synced up. It's maybe like 1/100th of a second or something, but it's right on. Are you talking about latency from?
You can feel like this mouth open when you hear it like a split second after.
Yeah, it's just a bit, and it depends on the venue, but generally it's as you get into the flow of it, it's almost unnoticeable. Go ahead.
Do you have a contact at every venue just in case, you know, like a screen goes up in front of the camera or somebody is obstructing the view?
Yeah, I mean there's often like little things that happen, and so because of that, we have support people who are basically on duty during a show, monitoring the chat room, because if people paid for content, actually if it's free, they'll also complain, but you know, now that they've paid, we have an obligation to fix it. And people are pretty vocal when anything goes wrong. So we, you know, like I said, we have somebody on duty, and we have a phone number at the venue in case we need to get in touch with them.
Nice.
Go ahead.
So, two questions. Is it one camera? Is it stationary like that? Do you have multiple cameras? And the other question, regarding flash, so would it not work on an iPhone or an iPad?
Well, the funny thing is we actually support HTML5, so it works on any device. I don't know why that particular page, it probably saw it was a browser, and for the browser we just sort of flashed because 99% of people had it. So that was Apple doing a little something there. Anyway, the other question, oh yeah, so the camera depends on the venue. Some venues like this are listening rooms, one camera, you can see the whole stage, it's a pretty up-close view. A couple venues we have 2 cameras on an automated switching loop, so there's still nobody at the venue, but for the first couple minutes you might not notice that it's not a produced webcast. And then at a couple other venues we have a full 3-camera crew. Go ahead.
So I kind of have 2 questions too. So one, what about actually accessing the video after? Are you recording it as well and being able to play back the purchase? Or that's one. And then 2, are you running into any issues with regards to artists that are signed to a publisher or label or anything like that?
Yeah, good question. So the first one, everything we do is live, and the reason is, and we alluded to this in the last presentation, anytime something is recorded, you have to get sync rights. Even if you don't sell it, you still have to negotiate the rights. And so that's possible to do, but there's no scalable, everything we do is about being scalable, and there's no scalable way to do that right now. You literally have to call up the publishers, negotiate deals, it's kind of a nightmare. And so, both for that reason and just for keeping it simple, because live streaming is kind of a new thing, and we want to just keep it conceptually very clean, just so people come to the site and can easily understand what it's about. However, in the next 6 months, we're going to introduce a DVR feature. A lot of people like the shows coming up, and they have events, and they can't make the shows for whatever reason. So we're going to give people the ability to say, okay, like these 4 shows, I want to watch 24 hours later. And it's legally, it's kind of a gray area. It is legal right now because of the TiVo case. So there was a case basically that enabled TiVo to do what it does. And this would be pretty similar. So that'll help fill in, you know, if you come to the site at 1 p.m., you'll have something to watch. Was that 2 questions, or did you have another one?
That was the first one. The second one is artists that are signed. When they're
Oh, yeah.
basically playing at those venues, they're under a completely different agreement. So
Yeah, it depends. Once you get into the label territory, it's almost a completely different model.
so are you targeting bars that you know won't have one of those artists, or are you just skipping those acts?
Well, we're targeting indie artists. So people either not signed to labels or signed to independent labels who are flexible enough to allow this kind of thing. And the venues we're signing are listening rooms to small theaters, 100 to 1,000 people, nationally touring acts, and most of those are indie. So we're kind of finding like the new music industry is like Bandcamp, it's Kickstarter. Artists are connecting directly with their fans, and they're not having to deal with the layers and layers of bureaucracy that you get at a label. So that's kind of where we're focusing on for the moment. That's not to say in the future we wouldn't want to have more of a label focus, but it's going to require more manpower. Go ahead.
I'm actually a musician and actually played at Cafe Lane and also played some of the other places that you got up there. So the thing about Cafe Lane, which is very much like you said, a listening club, when you go to do a sound check, you usually don't have the time to do a sound check for every single instrument, you know, in every venue that would be specifically for streaming. You know, you're listening to the room. So the question I have for you is, if you're playing a bigger club or a bigger stage, which you say like a 2,000 seat place, you know, I wouldn't bring a drum kit there. But in a situation where you've got a drum kit and you're not putting the drum kit through the PA system, what do you do with that? Do you have someone there, or is it up to your personal sound man to say, okay, you better mic up the drums because you're not going to hear it at home?
Yeah, good question. So it depends on the venue. Some venues we have a room mic, and so it's as if you're just sitting in the crowd, and whatever mix you're going to hear is going to be the optimal mix anyway. In other cases, you know, we usually go straight from the board. In big venues, it's actually the best mix because it's just the space is so large. They do mic the drums, they mic the bass amp or whatever. In venues like Lena, you know, here we're going straight from the board, and generally it's really good. It's really clean, it's really crisp. Sometimes the mix is not ideal because they're not going to do like a separate mix for streaming. Like you know, venues are pretty interesting to work with because they're all very individual, and a big part about this is that we're not asking them to do anything more than they usually do. So this all just sits in there. It's kind of out of sight, and it just works on its own. So yeah, so the answer to your question is, if they know there's a webcast, sometimes they will mic a drum or a bass, and otherwise it's a room mic. Go ahead.
Yeah, so does the audience in the crowd know that they're being filmed? And
Yeah, like that guy right there.
are there any types of like privacy issues that go like with us watching him?
Yeah, he's totally oblivious right now. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have an answer for that. I mean,
They're cookies, they like it.
yeah, I mean, it's a little extra exposure, I guess. Nobody's sued us yet. Go ahead.
Is there any way to track certain artists, or do you have genres that specifically fit for your site, or you kind of just do a bunch of venues that you have time with, and are you going to roll out a way to track of artists that you're looking for, and hopefully you can catch on ConcertWindow?
Yeah, it's a great idea. We actually do get artists who will do a little tour of the Northeast and play a couple of our venues over the course of a week. This is intentionally simple. We actually had a more complicated website before this. We just redesigned it. And so we're going to be adding features as we go along. I mean, you can do reviews. You used to be able to follow other users, and we took that away just to keep it simple. I think following artists is cool. You can search by genre. You can go to the schedule, and you can set reminders for shows.
Do you have a certain genre for ConcertWindow, or just you have the venues that you work with, and whatever they play, you will film their shows?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the philosophy is basically whatever sells tickets. Doesn't matter what genre it is.
Cool.
You guys planning to do like music festivals?
Yeah, that's a pretty commonly requested thing, and that's a little tough because we need full teams out there. Internet connection is a little iffy, and you can get these pretty cool like 4G backpacks, but it's expensive. It's a big production, and it's kind of a distraction from our core model, which is outfitting venues. But I think festivals would be really cool.
Okay, last question.
Do you have an analytics component at all for artists?
Yeah, we actually just built that in the last couple of weeks. So now if you're an artist and you're playing a venue, playing in Cafe Lena, let's say, you'll get an email from us and it'll say you have the opportunity to do a webcast, make extra money, reach your fans, and you can approve it right there. And then you'll be taken to an artist dashboard where you put in your bio and your photo. You can share it easily, and we'll show you the total number of views you've gotten and revenue and all that.
Okay, awesome. Thanks.
All right, thanks guys.